Hey everybody, Mark Newstater with eXp Realty. Thursday, January 20th, the sun's out, the Chinook is out, and it's a weekly real estate update, and it's crazy out there. Jaden, how about you?
Yeah, loving life, but it rained. It's raining here in on January the 20th. It's raining. Who knew,
Oh
right?
man, crazy weather, but we like these Chinooks except when it rains and then freezes. So,
That's right.
um, craziness in the market. I'm just going to tell you a quick story. I shared this last night in our networking meeting, and the real estate market right now in Calgary is kind of like playing musical chairs. So, normally in a buyer's market, you have, if the chairs are the homes and the people playing are the buyers, you have 100 chairs, you got 75 buyers. And, in a balanced market, there's 50 chairs, there's 50 people playing. And right now, there's two chairs and there's 100 people playing. And one of those chairs just got sold. So that was a long roundabout way of saying the market's on fire. And we will show you that now. Stop and share. Hold on 1 second. Got so much to share today, so we're going to try and keep this moving. Let's get to our weekly stats first. And you kind of look at this top line and go, oh, hey, there's 140 listings. And then you go down a line, 270 sales. Down another line, 199 pendings. 469 sales plus pendings, 329 plus net difference. So all I can say is if you're a buyer right now, I say this all the time, but you got to be on top of it. You got to know your realtor's got to look at the private remarks. When are they reviewing offers? What do you want to pay for that home, right? Jaden's going to talk about unconditional offers in his segment, but realistically, where do you want to be? You're not going to pay list price. Like, probably not going to happen unless it's overpriced in the first place, and then you might get to pay list price. But that's a whole other conversation because the house is probably crap. So, yeah, it's crazy out there. Please call me. I will guide you through it. There are ways to get through this kind of market as a buyer. And then if you're a seller, well, cha-ching, right? Of course, then where are you going to go if you do sell? But right now, it's absolutely craziness. We're just not seeing, inventory, sure. If you look at 5 weeks ago, we're the highest listings per week that we've had in probably a month and a half. But our solds are also the highest they've been in 5 weeks as well. Pendings are also the highest. So it's continually a challenge right now, and that is what is driving prices up. So total detached listings this week of 822, slightly down. Our total listings, though, went up slightly. That's because we're seeing non-detached, so semi-detached townhouses, apartment condos getting listed. So that is definitely changing as well. Yes, and good afternoon. Happy Thursday to you too, Neil. All right, so there's our weekly stat report. And now we're going to go to this week, last year. I'm going to get to know the name of this thing. This is, again, interesting when we show you what it was like last year at this time. Too many things to share today. All right, so last year, this week, last year. So we had a total of 258 sales this year. January 13th and 19th. Again, it's always the day before. 450. So an increase of 75%, 74.4, 75, whatever. New listings, 551 to 576. That's not as much of the problem as this up here, which is how many sales we're having. Active listings, this is the bigger issue, actually. 3978 at this time a year ago. 2606 as of yesterday, down 35%, but up 75% in sales. So simple math would say that we have an inventory problem. Look at the pendings. 184 pendings this week last year, 704, 282% up. Pricing, yeah, it's up. Like, it's up. You're going to pay a lot more than list price for homes right now. It's just the way it is. Days on market, I'm shocked it's actually at 46. There must be some absolute dogs on the market right now, because that should be like 15 days and under, based on what I'm experiencing personally with my buyers in the market right now. And then one last slide we're going to share is our days on market for right now. So we always talk about detached, but how about the other segments? So if you're selling an apartment style condo, 67 days, 52 days for row housing. Semi-detached is 50 days. But last Friday, so that's since we last chatted with you all, I listed a semi-detached home in Airdrie at 9 a.m. on Friday morning, and by 1:30 we had an unconditional offer for $460, which was $30,000 over the list price of $430. So these are averages. They don't take into account a lot of what's going on in the market, and then our 39-day average day on market for detached homes. Woo! And that's what's going on. It's pure craziness right now. Jaden, how about you?
Yeah, and I'm seeing the same thing. It's interesting. We talked about this last night again. I'm seeing things. I mostly see things from the buyer side, and almost never from the seller side, right? And so the frustration that I'm seeing with buyers right now is that they can't get their offers accepted, right? Everything is going too quickly, and I think Mark and I both have had really great conversations with our buyers, depending on what stage they're in. I have a buyer right now. They found a place that in their heart of hearts was worth $500,000 to them. They really wanted to love the place. It was listed at $520. Of course, they put in their $500,000 offer, and it got rejected. Well, the place got pulled off the market, and it went up the listing price the next day. So, but they were okay with that because they already own a condo. They were just kind of looking to move up. So it's all about your expectations for the marketplace, right? And if you're comfortable knowing that, as Mark will say, it's going to be more expensive in April. It's probably going to be more expensive in the fall as well, right? So.
Yeah, everyone's at this point is predicting an increase of around 10% again this year. And I got to give props to my friend Sean Getty, who came up with this whole, I don't know if it was him that came up with it. He had it out on Instagram, but I'm going to just give him kudos, and then now I'm going to steal it. But essentially, you got to look at it this way. If Jaden wants to sell his house on this one street, and let's say he lives in Airdrie, and he decides to put his home on the market, and he thinks, I'm going to put it on for $475. The place goes crazy. He actually sells it for $500. Okay. That's now the new low benchmark for that street, for that neighborhood, for that type of property, assuming all of the things are equal. So how Jaden's friend who lives on the same street, he's got a lot of friends on the same street, but Jaden's friend who lives on the same street says, well, man, Jaden just sold for $500. There's still nothing on the market. I'm going to put my home on the market. And he puts it on for $500. There's still nothing on, and now it's $520, right? So it keeps upping the low benchmark. So buyers who are saying, well, I'm going to wait till prices come down, you're just going to be chasing your tail. And in a year from now, you're going to be buying less of a house because you're still only going to qualify for what you qualify for today, probably. And that's a Jaden conversation. But the houses are going up 10% or more. Like, we just don't know. But from everything we're seeing, that's what's going on. Kevin has a question here. Is there a neighborhood in Airdrie that is hotter than others? Yes. The answer is yes. They're all hot. You know what, Kevin, that's a good question. It's a conversation I'll gladly have with you offline. I'm listing a home in Midtown tomorrow. It's going to be listed at $520. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 3 bedrooms up, and then partially finished basement with a full 3-piece bathroom. I'm fully expecting that to go this weekend. Just not a lot on the market, and it's a great house, central air conditioning, fully fenced, landscaped, and all that. So I would generally say, though, Kevin, the newer neighborhoods tend to be a little bit hotter. That's a blanket statement, but let's get back to you, Jaden. Sorry, I interrupted with Kevin's question there.
No, that was perfect and great information. And I guess we could just check my interest rates up on the
yes,
thing there.
I'm sorry.
No problem. And that's, I'm just going to touch on that quickly. I think we're coming up to our time here, but you're going to see that interest rates have risen slightly across the board. this week. They're going to continue that. What you can expect through into 2022 is constant increases in interest rates. We're hoping to see that high ratio fixed. Hopefully in kind of the low threes, maintain that through 2022. But one of the things that I'm really seeing, like I have clients who locked into variable at the right time because the discount was so great. They have prime minus 1.5, prime minus 1.3, just great discounts on prime. Well, the Bank of Canada is meeting on January 26th, so 6 days from now, next Wednesday. And they're going to discuss whether to raise the overnight rate, which will affect what the prime rate is. It's looking very much like that will go up a quarter point. Depending on who you talk to, either 75% chance or 50-50 chance. But those clients who signed in at prime minus 1.5, you're starting from 0.95%. So you still have a long way, rates will go up. We have a strategy in place to increase your payments to what your fixed would have been, to kind of offset any kind of negative payment rise. So yeah, lots of strategies around that. I still think, regardless of the fact that that prime will go up, I think there's going to be some more really great discounts through the spring market here on promotions. So keep your eyes open for that. I still think there's a lot of value in a variable rate mortgage right now.
Okay, sounds good. So, the importance of pre-approvals with Jaden is so important. I actually wrote an offer last weekend. Unfortunately, we did not win it. We were the highest bid, but we got outbid by somebody who was unconditional. Jaden, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. And so it's one thing that I was talking with a client about the other day. She doesn't want me to pull their credit until they have an offer in place, and that's problematic for me. But other than that, the other thing that's problematic for me is she says, can we write an unconditional offer? I will say this to every client that I talk to. Absolutely, you can. Would I suggest it? I would never ever suggest it because as much as you can have a strong file, there's always things that we can't control that either the lender or the insurer might be looking at, that we don't have that information. And so I personally will never suggest it. I think this is where I would suggest an unconditional offer. If you have the cash in hand and you don't care about the consequences, if you can pay for it out of your pocket, absolutely. But from a financing perspective, it's just very difficult to give that recommendation because you just don't. There's factors outside of our control.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. So we will have a great week. Hope you will as well. Jaden and I will keep plugging away at things here, helping out our clients. If you have questions, please reach out. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you in 7 days.
Thanks, guys.